125. My hours keep on falling down.
The Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm Karl Gerber. It's been pretty weird at this office. Coronavirus in the air, over here and everywhere, alone. Coronavirus in the air, over here and everywhere. Coronavirus in the air, every droplet and every cough. And I don't know if I'm being foolish. Don't know if I'm being wise. Oh, what's that?
But social isolation is something I must believe in. And it's there when I look into your eyes.
'Cause I can't see him on Zoom. What's going on? Who is that? Is there somebody in this building? I won't be able to touch anything for 3 days, and I'm all on a Lysol.
You're an employment lawyer. What are you doing making up parody songs?
Somebody is in my office. I said just leave the package outside the door. I'll be right out once I put my mask and gloves on and I suit up.
Oh my God. What is going on here?
Cases, legal files. There's nothing else to do.
I wouldn't exactly say that. All those employment cases must be causing you stress. You're probably literally building, ready to explode.
Who is there? I know that voice. Stay away! Don't touch anything!
He's constructed some kind of desk that takes up the entire secretarial pit on the second floor. I've never seen so many motions, oppositions, proofs of service, legal papers with numbers 1 through 28 on the left side. Why, this is like being in a real lawyer's office.
I am Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer. I screen more new client calls at 877-525-0700 for employees than any living lawyer. I can single-handedly win almost any case. Definitely all the cases since I've been cooped up in here doing nothing other than answering this 877-525-0700 number. Nothing other than screening the new client calls, drafting correspondence, opposing motions, bringing motions, writing checks to vendors, checks to clients, big checks to clients, big checks to clients for hard, really hard cash.
Oh, Mr. Gerber, you've gone mad.
Look at all these notices of rulings, court orders, big settlement distributions. How could a madman pull all that off since March 16th, the last time I had a full house of staff in here?
What did you do on March 13th?
Oh, don't bring me there. Oh, don't bring me there. Target. Vaughn's was very depressing. I saw a mother die in the arms of her child fighting a retired woman over a roll of toilet paper. Albeit slightly used, not used back there. I guess used for something else. It was discolored. Ew! Don't bring me back there.
You were still broadcasting back then.
I was. And I didn't even talk about the police officer who shot the mother because he wanted the toilet paper after what he went through in the portable potty. I mean, he brought it upon himself. He could have left when he saw that guy in there, but I guess that's what he was asking for. Oops, I think we've offended somebody. They're probably calling in now saying this is a very distasteful show.
I thought you said that's what your office was looking for. Truly distasteful wrongs done by evil employers. Oh, you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt and shorts. I expected you'd be wearing a suit.
And I expected you'd be... I'm confused, Cindy. Are you wearing clothes?
Do you like it?
Could you stop touching yourself?
I made it myself.
Well, I'm certainly not involved in this.
It's the phone sex operator costume. I don't need Jell-O and hard candies anymore.
Cindy D, the most famous English-speaking landline phone sex operator in the world. Well, heavens to overtime wages. Yes, heavens to it.
You're acting like you haven't seen a phone sex operator in months. Well, I guess you wouldn't. We don't show our faces.
Well, technically you're the only phone sex operator I know.
What about Delicious Divine?
I only met her once on episode 97. I was hoping she'd come on the show again, but, we got shot down and caught up with that whole coronavirus thing, and I had to stop this summer. Mostly abstinence.
You mean you haven't finished since then? Oh, you really need to find an operator you're comfortable with.
I think we're talking about two different things.
How many cases have you done since April 22nd, 2020?
I've really dug in, devoured the facts, beat up the witnesses.
Oh, that's too bad. You used to make them sound like liars. Now you're beating them up? Hey, that's not social distancing, Mr. Gerber.
We still have depositions, just not in person.
Oh, I get it. Just like a phone sex call.
Oh, no, we use a Zoom.
Oh, that's the problem. So many competitors have started on Zoom.
Well, competition breeds a better product.
I was born with a receiver in my mouth. I started doing calls when I was just...
This is a clean show on a very conservative, pretty much fringe element radio station.
Yeah, I know we're the fringe element.
Oh no, it's the other guys.
What guys? My customers? Most of them have died in the pandemic. I miss them. I don't like hearing insensitive people say the pandemic is killing a bunch of people who would have died anyway. To die during one of my phone calls, that's going out in style at 102. Isn't that how you want to go?
I can't say it is.
Really? I thought that was most guys' dreams.
Yeah, here's the problem. I do a lot of sexual harassment cases for women, and I don't want this show to be misinterpreted.
The landline phone sex operator is very supportive of this particular problem. She and her, we feel that landline phone sex operators around the globe are well portrayed by me. My daughter is a genius, and I am in the most loving relationship with the hardest man alive in the cement industry. And my mother is an advanced bioengineer of some very difficult, novel objects. Not really novel. People have had them all along. It's just not that they were bioengineered. And I do believe there's a problem at the lab. You know how a lot of businesses aren't being attended to these days.
Hey, enough jokes about my office. I'm the only one in this building right now, well, besides you. A long-term associate is gone a couple of weeks. She's the only one crazy enough to never leave her house other than occupying the downstairs office by the back. And then I'm upstairs in the front, and so far we've never chanced upon each other in the stairwell.
What's this big desk about here in the secretarial pit?
I figured I could hide myself in the papers in case the intruder was somebody mad at me, maybe. Myron Alfumbra, pronounced Madding, but spelled M&M.
While you've been cooped up in your office making a bunch of shipped orders, Walmart, Are there more? Myron Alfombra, pronounced Madding but spelled M&M, has been giving away those ever-growing Berber toupees that are actually nylon because they make people itch.
I'm well aware of the other device he has made. He's made something like 1 trillion off it. And that isn't all paycheck protection loans and funding from the federal government like most big businesses got.
You're talking about the merkins he's been making ever since the merkins made out of ever-growing Berber that is actually nylon?
Oh, no! I mean, that makes people think they have crabs!
One of my customers said he was wearing an ever-growing Berber merkin that is actually nylon. I told him I couldn't get into that fetish.
It's the ever-growing Berber face masks that are actually nylon. They keep growing and growing and growing unless they're tampumed every hour and they actually suffocate you.
Were you done wrong by your employer? Call 877-525-0700. Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has successfully represented employees in wrongful termination, sexual harassment, employment discrimination, and unpaid wage lawsuits, including class actions. They are only paid when and if money is collected from the employer. Call 877-525-0700 during the week for an experienced job lawyer. 877-525-0700. Is there
something strange underneath your hood? It don't look good. Who you gonna call? Leon Catlin!
Healing your wheels for 40 years. The Motorman, Leon Kaplan. Sunday mornings at 8 on AM 790 KABC.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? But did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
America's at a crossroad and someone needs to stand up for America's rights. Hey, I'm Leo Terrell, America's fair-minded civil rights attorney. And I got a new podcast. I would love you to check it out. It's out right now. Download the podcast at KABC.com.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber, a real workplace lawyer. I've got a phone sex operator in my deserted office. I'm just hanging out here. I don't know why. Oh, it must be a new client. Call over on 877-525-0700. They should call between 9 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. during the week. I can't always be answering 877-525-0700 on the weekends for those employees. Besides, it's past midnight.
Hello? Who made the ringy-dingy go ringy? Cindy, this is your mother. How many times have I told you not to answer the phone like that? You don't know who might be calling. It could be your periodontist. Do you have one? It's never too early to start preventative care for your gums. Just this week, I was reading a journal study about a link to Alzheimer's and gum disease. Come on, Mom. Just because I've got stuff in my mouth most of the day when I'm doing my calls, that doesn't mean my gums aren't in great health. Mr. Gerber, look at my gums. Do they look diseased to you?
Keep that mask on. I'm not a red state Republican looking to live a shorter life than a blue state Democrat.
I just happen to be relaxing, watching the nanny cam over at the lab. Actually, that doesn't exactly relax me. I must say, those specimens have gotten a bit out of hand. I don't even think a hand would fit across some of them. I heard Mr. Gerber talking about abandoned workplaces. I have something to say.
I was? I'm in my office way too much for that. I mean, everything's on Zoom. I never leave. It's not an abandoned office over here. I'm answering the phone 10.5 hours a day minimum.
There was a scare at the lab.
One scare at your lab, Dr. D? I'd say your lab is most people's worst nightmares. I'd never want to see that place.
Well, the lab has been, how do you say, rather unattended. At first, they were playing with themselves, but one of them, oh my, he got so big. Mr. Gerber, have you ever seen a green anaconda? Some of them weigh 1,100 pounds. We had one for a little while when Cindy was growing up. The neighbors complained. He never bit anybody, as long as Reverb sang to him a couple hours a day.
I'm not sure that sort of singing would relax me.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to relax you, Mr. Gerber. To the contrary.
Dr. D, this has all been very amusing, actually quite disturbing. Is there an employment problem in this, or are we going to talk about how you had a dangerous snake in your Southern Van Nuys yard, your non-biological daughter, ASMR Whisperport legend, sang to? Is that what we're going to talk about?
I was getting to it. Well, one of the units kept feeding. We never intended him to be 14 feet or 1,400 pounds. I know that's more than an anaconda weighs, 23 feet and 1,100 pounds. Should I do a metric conversion for your listeners?
Oh, I don't think that's going to be necessary.
The lab has been sued because the genital escaped, broke right through the glass, terrorized the neighborhood in Chatsworth on account of the virus and all. The protesters, too. The fire department didn't want to get involved. The specimen slithered and slid from Chatsworth to Sun Valley.
Presumably it got subdued in Sun Valley.
Naturally. But it wreaked a lot of havoc along the way. Property damage in the millions, tens of millions, not to mention quite a few claims for severe emotional distress.
I always told you something like this would happen, Mom.
Well, now it has, and her insurance probably doesn't cover this little, not so little biohazard.
Dr. Chu and I, us ladies, were wondering if you could refer us to a good mass tort defense firm.
You know something, Dr. D, this just isn't for me.
Well, that particular specimen wouldn't be for a lot of ladies. Men, too. Even those non-binary types. It's a good thing they took him in over at the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich Ranch in Sun Valley.
Well, hopefully he'll stay there and won't grow anymore.
Not grow on the ranch? How is that supposed to happen there?
Yeah, I don't really care. I wrote a great short story about racism amongst people who weren't exactly white bread in 1965 Los Angeles when the show wasn't on the air for a couple months. We acted it out. It's on the Karl Gerber with a K channel. The Visitor, literary fiction with completely historically accurate facts about Los Angeles and Oxnard. I had some great Zoom depositions, mediations, wonderful conversations with clients, really got to know them. I helped employees who were wronged, sexually harassed, not paid for being on call 24/7, fired when they took their medical leaves, fired after 29 years for no reason, really made a difference in their lives. And now I'm sitting here talking about an escaped bioengineered genital who wrecked wreaked havoc everywhere. It slithered from Chatsworth to Sun Valley. No, this can't start again.
You've been called back. Summoned.
Oh, it's worse this time, I'm afraid. It won't just be KABC. There'll be other radio stations. The Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyers Show will be heard all over the place. The funniest, the strangest comedy every week with real facts about employment law. Well, maybe somebody will call me. I really am a workplace lawyer.
Ooh, this is exciting. Do you think they'll bring back the Yoni lady?
The soldier whose genital was stolen in the evil bait and switch by Myron Alfumbra, pronounced batting but spelled M&M. Rhemus Helms, the most important man of Sun Valley, California, who made his initial penile seed money when his genital got infringed. His girlfriend Nazuki. And more, and even more strange guests. Dumas, the incompetent employment defense lawyer, will be on this show, I'm sure.
I don't know, Mr. Gerber. This sounds like a big waste of your time. You could be out changing the lives of young women who were discriminated against on the basis of their pregnancy. Not like that awful Tanita Gravitt II who claimed she was pregnant for 11 years or something like that. Footnote. Episode 27. I listened to that episode, Cultivating a Non-Binary Specimen.
The world must learn the fundamentals of employment law.
Oh, I hope I didn't infect you with COVID.
They say that wearing a mask is good for you. Come on. Don't be hoarding. There's enough coronavirus to go around for all of us. I just need a little at a time, building up my antibodies with the mask.
What did you say? Right. I agree.
There's no way we can do this show wearing masks.
Did they just tell you to say that so you'd be more accepted on this station? I seriously can't understand you with that mask on.
Yeah, let me try something else. Wait, Cindy! What's that mask over there on my desk? It might be less sound deafening.
Oh, no. There's ever-growing Berber that is actually nylon on there.
We've been invaded! How did that get in here?
The air ducts. We aren't safe.
Myron Alfumbra, pronounced batting, but spelled M&M, must be near. Hopefully he's not lurking in the metal studs of this law office.
Gosh, I thought he was busy slowing down the postal service.
He sure does have a lot of vested interest in this election.
But his client has real hair. Does he?
It apparently takes a very long time to wash in low-flow plumbing fixtures. That is not a known characteristic of an ever-growing Berber toupee that's actually nylon.
Mr. Gerber, I was wondering what you'll do if that sexy half-Indian, half-black lawyer woman gets in the White House. Over on the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich Ranch, you tell him, Cindy.
Mom, why did you have to bring that up?
He needs to know.
Okay. They're concerned you're going to run out of material if we get a real president.
Well, thanks for saying that. We've just lost all of our midnight listeners, which apparently is a very high number, and I'm supposed to make it even higher. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Tune in next week for more.
AM 790.